Yeah, we were talking about the data ownership, and basically, I mean, you own your data. You can get backups whenever you want. We use encryption over the internet for the data, so it's just the same as like online banking. I mean, that's the same type of security that we use. And from a redundancy standpoint, I mean, we actually have a primary data center, which is a tier 1 data center. The company that runs it's a public company. Within the data center, we have standby servers, right? In case anything happens with our existing servers. We make a backup of the data every 15 minutes. And then we also have a full-blown secondary data center configuration in case our first data center blows up, right? And that copy is every 15 minutes also. So, and then we have a relationship with a company called Iron Mountain, which is kind of a backup software escrow organization, and what they do is kind of like a business continuance relationship, or they're like a business continuance partner for us, so that if anything should happen to us, then all the data and the software is at their location, which is completely separate from our locations, and our they actually sign, kind of like they're like a third party that signs agreements with our customers. It says, hey, if anything ever happens to Citizenserve, we've got all your data and we can act here on your behalf to get your data and help you transition or whatever you want to do, right? So we kind of we've over the past 10 years we've kind of developed this based on the needs of our customers, and it seems like we have all of our bases covered in terms of redundancy and business continuance and disaster recovery and stuff like that. Iron Mountain's a multi-billion-dollar public company, and they're the actual leader in data protection and offsite backups and stuff like that. So so that's sort of. Do you have any questions about your data or software as a service or those types of things?
This is exactly what we're looking for.
Okay, great. And so I'm gonna jump in. Just now, one of the things that are you interested in having the citizens be able to make a complaint online, check the status of a complaint?
Yes.
That sort of stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll jump into that. Are you doing any kind of a rental inspection, licensing, vacant property?
Yes.
Type of things where you charge, like if a property is vacant, you charge the owner, $100 a year or something to do an inspection to make sure that it's not a mess?
Yes.
Okay. We're starting to see a lot of that with the foreclosures, and a lot of our customers are interested in doing those sorts of things. So this is Citizenserve. Really, there's nothing more to do than just log in. This is the live system. It's not a. I mean, although it's a demo configuration, it's actually the live system for that we use. So. And so this is kind of the home screen, or the screen that the inspectors, code enforcement officers would be looking at. We have a setup here where you can see your tasks. These are typically what code enforcement officers will work off of, is basically a list of inspections that they have. And then there's also an appointment feature within Citizenserve that is set up really for actual appointments. So you can either put a task on your list, which is kind of like a to-do list, or you can make an appointment, which is more like on Wednesday between 1 and 3 I need to be at this property to meet with somebody, that type of a thing. So the system's pretty easy to use. If you ever want to get back to the screen, you just click on the Citizenserve logo here. We try to make it easy for our users to kind of get to the files that they're working on. So there's a list here of recent files. Anything I've recently accessed is going to show up here. We can set up custom metrics so that if there's things that you're keeping track of, as a department or for individuals, you can kind of set those up down here, and they can be just about anything. We've got a quick search feature where you can search on your case file, your address, or parcel number. But if you look in here at kind of the user options, there's a whole lot of things that the users can kind of set to customize their user experience. So there's a lot of different things in here that you can set, kind of how your to-do list shows up, and things that actually show up in your quick find. Here we've got, file number, address, and parcel number, but you can select from other things that you want to have in the quick find area and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of options. This is like one of the things that, like we would do in our support. Somebody might say, well, I want to change my quick find. Sometimes it's intimidating for users to kind of go and find this and change it and stuff like that. I mean, they'll click on Support Center. They'll type in their request. I need help with it. I want to change my quick find. I want to search on the case description. And we'll actually change that for them. So we keep track of open requests, closed requests. Our support team is very focused on making sure that requests get closed every day, right? So, we have a system internally that we use that, if we've got open requests, we're working on trying to make sure that they get closed. So that's sort of a little bit on the support and options that you can set. So if I want to, search on an address, I can type in, part of the address, and it should pull up a case for me. And this is sort of the quick find format up here. It'll give me case numbers. This is a building permit. These are probably code cases here, and I can pull those up and actually see the information. This over here is a thumbnail I was talking about. This is probably a thumbnail that's pulled in from the street view. And let me give you a quick. This is a code case, so we've got you can kind of open and close the different information. The initial information is just sort of a description. We have links in the system where you can go click on other files. You can see other things, other addresses that are associated with the case, and you can also show the case on a map if you want. You can click on that and see what we can come up with here. So this is we've got built-in GIS functionality in the system. We use Google Maps. Although if you use Esri or you have layers, say like with zoning or something like that, we can actually we import those layers. That bringing in your property data, the correct address, parcel numbers, legal address or legal description and stuff like that. That's part of the subscription. So we'll do that as often as you want us to do it. So initially, when we do the setup, we get your property data, we put it in the system so that we know that when you enter a case, we've got a good parcel number, and we can link that to other things that are going on, whether it's other code cases or permits and stuff like that. When, say, like with zoning, you can click and get information on your layers. So this is the zoning information that's associated with that layer. The system is set up so that you can view satellite images and stuff like that. We've had some customers, have us put their aerial or satellite, or kind of aerial photographs and stuff like that in the system as opposed to Google Maps. But most people seem to be okay with Google Maps. So I'm going to go back to the case here. This is just the property information. We can create custom fields for any properties or cases or activities or anything in the system. So one of the things that we're seeing today is people want to with a property, they're interested in knowing whether it's in foreclosure, whether it's a vacant building or something like that. So that's an example of what we might have. These links here, we can go to other files. You just click on it, and this is our demo system. So we've got a lot of cases associated with some of the properties. You can see the file type. If it's permitting, whether there's a business at the location. General cases, that sort of thing. So, and it's as simple as clicking on the link to go to that case, and you can see here it's a business license case, and I can click the back button. This is the nice thing about the browser applications is it's sort of intuitive in a sense because it's it's along the lines of what people are doing using the internet. So I click the back button, it takes me back to where I was. This is we were just looking at the file, and with every file, there's a history. You can see a complete history. So I'm looking at the complete history here, and this complete history shows everything that's gone on with the case, pretty much since the time it was added, right? So all the letters that were printed, documents that were attached, everything that's gone on. With contacts, this is all the people associated with the case, and you can see the little email icon over here. I can send emails to people associated with the case. Whenever I generate a document, it'll also list the people associated with the case. So I can send a letter to the one letter to the property owner, another letter to the tenant, those sorts of things. So you can keep an unlimited number of contacts on a case. And you can also have, set custom associations. In this case, we've got a complainant and a property manager. You could have, the bank that owns the property. You could have, just about anything, the tenant, and that sort of thing. So you can have an unlimited number of contacts. And the way we manage the contacts is we try to always search for a person or a business or something first, and try to get the user to select from the people so that you can see other you can link the people to other things they might be associated with. And so here is an example. So ABC Property Management, I can click on this other files. It's going to show me other files that are associated with that contact. So it's the same, with properties and with people. We try to link them to, anything else that's going on in the system. And then you can simply just click on that, and it'll take you to that particular file. We've also got some other icons that are worth mentioning. This is a business license, but here we've got an alert. This is a property alert, and this is somebody has said, set an alert on this property saying, hey, there's a dangerous dog on that property. So you can set up, for property and for people, you can add an alert if you just want somebody to know something about that property or that person that's important. So that's these are kind of common icons, the property, kind of other files, and then also the alert icon. And then this is kind of our map. I want to see this on a map icon. Activities, this is really where a lot of the things that happen within a case, inspections that might happen, anything like that. So this is, here we've done an inspection and a re-inspection, and you can kind of see where these are set up. And if you click on the inspection, you can see kind of information about that, kind of, what the due date was, when it was completed, who it was assigned to, and then also have notes, and then you can also, a description, you can also add notes to the system. Throughout the system, we've got, it's kind of almost built-in capabilities to sort of have the citizens involved, and so that's where you see, like with this add note, you can decide whether you want other people to be able to see that or not. The Documents tab, this contains everything that's gone on in a case. In this case, there were a couple of pictures taken. There was a violation letter sent. Let me see if I can pull up a picture here. You can attach an unlimited number of pictures or audio recordings or videos or whatever you want to the system. So this is a picture of somebody's project, and then let me see what this violation letter. So here's a violation letter that was actually saved in the system, and we customize the violation letters, to be whatever you want. We use kind of like a Word editor, that sort of thing. And then we put you can I think optionally you can put photos in with the system too. So and I think that this has some photos. It's taken a second to pull them up. And you guys have any questions so far? Or?
Oh no, it's looking great.
Okay. Our violation structure is that we set up, and this is important if you have a code perspective on things, is that you might go out to a property and you've got multiple violations, and they're not all going to close at the same time, right? So, or they may not, and so we're set up to have multiple violations, and sometimes you can actually go into a violation and decide at that time, I'm gonna change this one to close, but leave the other ones open. So so that's sort of how our violations are set up. You can have as many violations as you want in a code case, and each one can be managed separately. You can have separate pictures for each one, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to my home page here. So let's say somebody calls and they want to add or they want to complain. There's my neighbor's got weeds. In this case, you can this is the kind of the it's like a wizard or whatever to input a case into the system, and I'll go ahead and you can not, if you want to have an anonymous complainant, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and put in an example person here, and let me see here. I'll just pick this one here. So I went in basically and I searched for the person first, and then I actually I find, if I didn't find the person, I would click on New and I would enter that person's information. But, if the person's already in there, you want to select that person because you may have other things going on with that person. Like this is an alert here that Julie complains a lot about her neighbors. And then you can see other files associated with this person. So, and when I select a person, it pulls up all the personal information about that person in case I want to change it. Like I can confirm their home phone or cell phone or that sort of thing. And you can see down here that, with each contact or citizen or person in the system, we keep track. You can, they have a username and password that goes with the web component or the citizen access side, and you can turn their online access on and off and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and I'll just say weeds in the yard, and you can add additional notes if you want. But this is now, so down here we're in property, and so I'm going to go ahead and enter a property address. And so the same as before, we want to search to find the right information so that we get a parcel number and a geocoded address and all that sort of stuff. So this is kind of our property lookup. This first property here is the data that's kind of straight out of the tax rolls or the county database. These other files down here, these are addresses that are where it may have been updated. So you may have somebody may have created a file and updated the owner information or something like that. And so you can select from either one. I'll go ahead and just select it straight off of the tax rolls, and it's going to pull in all the information from that kind of lookup. And I can, if I want, I can change it here. So. So that sort of is pulling in the property data, and so I can go over here and pick, what kind of case this is, and I can set a priority on it. I can go, and all these things, the types, priorities, case statuses, all these are changeable through the admin feature to match the types of things that you'd want to change. So, here's a disposition, which is important for reporting. Also case categories. You may have like 100 violation codes, but you might want to throw them into general categories for a reporting standpoint. So let's go ahead and I'll just call this a nuisance. And you can say how this is, how this has been received. And then you can also set whoever the responsible user is, so for the case. So what I can do, usually with a code case, when you take the inbound call or the inbound information, you're going to go out and do an inspection, right? So I'll go ahead and put in today, 29th. We've got a calendar thing here. I should click on that to show you. So you can just pick on the calendar. So I'll say the due date's today, and so I've got I've got assigned a user, me. I can pick another user if I want. I can keep track of time or different things associated with this activity, and I can also notify, if I want to, I can be notified on completion of this, and I can type in any notes if I wanted to about this. So this is a, I'm basically creating a task that should be completed in a sense. So here's my case, but if I go back, so this is pulled in the thumbnail for me. And this is the case that I've just created. So what's going to happen is I'm going to see this on my list. So here's my list of things that I've got going on. I'll go out and do an inspection. And so if I click on the task, it'll actually just pull up the activity for me. If I click on the case number, it'll pull up the general case. So I clicked on the activity, and I'm going to go ahead and put in a completion date, say I'm actually going to complete this, and I'm going to say down here that completed section, found weeds and abandoned vehicle. So, so I'm going to go ahead and save this, and let me see what the blue side here is kind of where you look for adding things. And so if I want to add a violation, I can add a violation here. We keep track of. You can enter things by code, or you can enter things here by description. So let's say I'm going to go. I've got weeds, and so if I put in the description, it's going to pull the code in for me. And then I can also, if I want, I can view the full text of the ordinance or the code that is in the lookup. And so there's, you can have, a lot of times there's, sometimes a full description is a couple paragraphs. And go ahead.
So we will supply you with the codes,
Yep.
the code violations.
Yep.
So we'll have it in a variety of formats. So it'll be like the
Exactly. Yeah. We have a violation code lookup in the administration feature. Everybody's pretty much all municipalities have a different list of codes and descriptions and corrective actions and stuff like that. So
you guys upload it into the software.
Yep. Yeah, we do that as part of the setup, and then if it ever changes, that's part of the unlimited support. You just give us a call and say you want to add one or something like that.
If it was something that we wanted to do ourselves, will we have the abilities to do that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So if I click on admin, let me go into so if I'm an admin, I click on lookups here, and I can see all the different lookups, right? So I'm going to go. I want violation types. And so here's all the codes that were listed in that drop-down list box. And so there's the lookups, and you can you click on new, and you can type in the new code. There's a short description. That's what shows up in the drop-down list box. A full description, and then corrective action if you want to put that in there.
Okay.
And then Citizenserve is kind of cool because there's like if you go into something and you don't want to be there, you can just get out and go back to your home page. So so anyways, I was in let's go back to my case.
Question, Jim.
Yeah.
I just actually just a statement. It's almost, for anyone who spent any time doing any code work, it's very obvious that some of these features are specifically designed for code-related activity. There are a lot of packages on the market, but they're little quirks that make life easy for code. Citizenserve has it, so that's just a general statement.
Yeah, and that's like I said, I mean, we started out in code, so that's we eventually we had customers that are like wanted to add permitting and business licensing and planning and zoning and all that stuff, but we got started actually, I mean, really kind of back in the mid-90s, working on mobile solutions, for code enforcement for the city of Phoenix. And so, it's kind of back then it was they had these huge modems you have to kind of Velcro to the back of your notebook. It was, anyways, but so that's that's our perspective. And so the violations. Let's go back to that. And so I haven't entered one yet, but so I'll put in the weeds. And another thing that kind of is different about our model is we because we have the unlimited support and we talk a lot with our end users. I think we just get better product information than the people that do the annual user conference and and come out with a new release of their software every year and a half, right? I mean, we'll get good ideas. We put it in in the next release, which is next month or something. Right. So And then if, like I said, if it was a bad idea, we hear about it. So,
So you put
I'm putting,
once a month?
it seems like lately every 2 or 3 weeks, because we're constantly adding.
Always up there. I like that.
Yeah, with the changes, like things like Google Maps and some of our users are, using iPads and stuff like that. I mean, we get a lot of, requests. Like, I want to see all my inspections on the map, stuff. We're just getting lots of feedback because of kind of there's the mobile aspect, and then also the mapping, and then the citizen involvement's another kind of fast-moving type of a thing. That's sort of relatively new for a lot of departments, where citizens can log in and stuff like that. So
you currently have in place where an officer can map each location and put them in order?
Yeah, I've got yep, yeah, it's basically they can see their appointment schedule on the map, and I think there's a routing thing too that kind of uses the Google Maps.
Okay.
Their directions kind of it's not necessary. It's not something really. We just call Google Maps and say, we have these addresses, and the optimization really comes from their driving directions, whatever. So, so I'm entering this violation. I'll put in a follow-up date, and let's say, you could enter a separate follow-up date for each violation.
Hey, Jim, is there a spell check in the comments box?
Well, yes, it does. The spell checking functionality actually comes from the browser.
Okay.
So you set that feature in your browser, and Firefox. I know that, yeah, Firefox is good. Google Chrome is pretty good. IE, I think that there's an add-on you have to sort of put in there. So, so you can add documents specific to. So I'm going to add documents specific to this violation. Let me put it. And your document types is another thing. This can all be customizable. And I'm just going to say weeds. And let me see if I can. There we go. I'll pick something different. I don't know if I have weeds.
Well, we get it. We get it.
So yeah. What I've done is I picked the document there, and then I'll go ahead and add another violation here for us.
Okay, so I see down where it says add documents, we would click the thumbnail, and we open the file. When we open that particular case, there'd be a thumbnail, that photo will be thumbnailed in the
Yeah. Let me see if I can. I'm going to add I'll add another motor vehicle in here, and we'll say parked car, and we can we'll add a picture with this one here. Jump car, and so this adds the violations. So now we can see that the violations are in here. They're both open, and you can, when you do a reinspect, you can go out and choose a disposition. Sometimes those are like voluntary compliance, involuntary compliance, that sort of thing. And then you can click on this icon here, which allows you to edit the letter before you generate it. Let me go ahead and click on the generate letter here. And so this is the letter, and so we can pull in user-specific signatures. So, in some of the letters, it's might be the department head or the building official or whoever. If you want, it can actually it can be the signature of the person who generated the letter, and it'll do that dynamically. So.
Oh, good. So let's say our department head leaves, retires. All we got to do in the admin section is change who that new person is, and it'll go on the letter.
Yeah. You can have a static signature on the letter. Let me. I don't know if. Let me go into admin here real quick, and I'll show you the violation letter. It's pretty. One of the things about Citizenserve is that we're set up to. The system's set up to be easy to change, easy to add custom fields, easy to generate reports, and so that's makes our unlimited support job a whole lot easier. So, so down in forms and letters, this is really where the violation letter is, and so these are letters that are associated with this department. So, like if you ever do other departments, like you want to have permitting or something, and you're a larger county, so you would probably have separate departments, and that way you can every department has their own lookups and features and stuff like that. So we have sort of like a directory tree set up where you can have departments and sub-departments, and you can pass on, you can have the rights be specific so that the code enforcement people only see the code enforcement stuff. But they're all users of Citizenserve, so if you wanted to, you could say, I'm going to give code enforcement read-only rights to look up permit cases so that they can see what's going on with permit cases. So let's go look at the violation letter. So there's a HTML editor, and which allows, which we use to create the documents, and this is kind of the older version of it, which is, but this is, you can go in and you can make, any modifications, and it's kind of like a mail merge type of a feature. You can go up here and you can pick the types of information that you want to put in the letter, and I think that, so like general formatting, here's where, I can select, the user signature. So, you give us, you'll fax us or email us an image of the signature. We'll kind of make it look pretty and upload it as an image. And so that user signature is one of the things that you can select, and you can see down here. This is just, it's as simple as you put that user signature there. When a document's generated, it comes out. And, we have other variables like full name of user and stuff like that. But it could be anything, like case. If we go into property information, you can select different things associated with the property, and then you just take that field, and you can just put it right here in the letter. So it's a pretty, when it comes to generating letters, forms, those types of things, it's, whether we do it for you as part of the support, which is common, or you want to do it yourself, it's pretty straightforward. So, and it's it's just massively flexible. So, one of the things about Citizenserve is kind of nice is that the system we're looking at right now is just, that's the same thing that you use on the iPad, right, or your tablet. And so that makes it nice because there's only kind of one thing to learn how to use. You don't have to have a whole separate mobile application, which a lot of times that's what, that's people have done that. They kind of, have the whole separate mobile application. And then you got two things you got to figure out and support and all that sort of thing. So this is the same thing, but there's some device specific things that, like with the iPad, our users wanted to be able to just take the picture and then, be able to put the picture in the case right there. And so we had to do some, something to allow that to happen, because the iPad's kind of a little bit different than a Windows-based computer. So, so that's kind of the case. We kind of created a case. We put some pictures in there, and you can, at this point, you can do things like schedule reinspection. These are the features over here where you can add additional people, documents. You can send an email out, that sort of thing. You can add alerts if you want to add those sorts of things. We have for code cases, we have some reports that you can do. Sometimes you need to generate a report to, say, give to the court, or, that sort of thing. So there's a way for you to generate a report about a case. Let me click on custom here and see what we can come up with. This is, again, it's a little bit like a wizard. I'm going to go in, I'm going to say, I'm going to select all the inspections. I want all the pictures and documents. I want all the citizens involved in the case, and all the violations, and then you can click on submit, and it'll actually, this will generate sort of a case summary report based on what we, everything that's gone on with the case. And this is something that, again, a lot of times this gets forwarded to or sent to the court system, or, somebody who may be dealing with the case outside of the department. So I can, let's say I wanted to, if I want to do an email, you can set up email templates. That's kind of another, and you can send it out to people involved in the case that have email associated with their, so I can have a, select that. But on the report side of things, we have, we have a basic report wizard, advanced report wizard. These are kind of for, if somebody wants to go generate a quick report. Sometimes, we'll use those wizards in support to help fulfill a support request. A lot of the reports we do are just custom reports, and what we do is we'll just, we'll set up reports for people. They'll say, hey, I need a report that does certain things, and we'll set up the custom reports, and then they can go in and run the reports based on the parameters. I don't know what, let me see if one of these makes sense, like this dashboard report here. All the reports can have custom parameters, so.
Does it come preset with a couple of reports already?
Yeah, there's a bunch of reports down at the bottom, but what we found is that everybody kind of wants their own reports. So, so somebody says, and so we generate the custom reports for them, and I think this report's kind of complicated, so it might take about 30 seconds to come up. But, cases are easy to find in the system. You can, the find feature up here, you can search on things really kind of by the file type, description. If you just type in description, if you type in weeds, it'll pull up all the cases that have weeds in the description. You can search on, different people in the system. It's the searching and finding things is pretty simple. So this is which one? This is a well, this is a compliance. This report's actually kind of a complicated report, and that's why it took a minute to run. But this is something I think we did for one of our customers, and it's just sort of a summary, a quarterly summary of different things that were going on. And so with all the reports, you can send it to PDF. You can do an export to Excel. And one of the coolest things about our reporting features is you can actually do a mail merge. So if you print up a list, any kind of report that has a list of property addresses or owners or whatever, you can do a mail merge with a template, and this is kind of what we do for a lot of say like renewal notices or follow-up notices, or and then you can also do email merges with the system, where you can send an email out to say everybody who has an email address that's complained about weeds or something like that. So in the standard reports, we've got, and this is for code, we've got kind of case summaries, open cases, that sort of stuff. But most of the time, like I said, you're gonna find that you'll send us a support request saying I need a report, for how long it takes us to close a case by case category, and we'll make that for you. So,
Sure.
The fine features.
Will we be able to use it?
Yeah, we put it in your folder, and then you can run it whenever you want. If you want to run it on a date or date range or case category, that'll just be in the parameters that you use when you generate it. So, so you can search on case category here. You can search on case types. Pretty much anything. I think description too. Like if I type in weeds here, it'll probably pull up all the weeds related. So everything in here that I think starts with or has weeds in it is pulled up. And then with all the searching and things like that, you can just click on the case. So it's kind of, you can easily drill down and into the system, and when you do a search, or even when you do a report, like if we were over here in reports and we wanted to look at, I don't know what open app activities will come up with, but you can drill down, right? So within reports, you can be looking at the report and then just click on the case number and go to the case, right? So that's that's kind of a cool thing to have. Let me show you really quick let me see if I can get into. So within the system, we have a kind of a built-in website. It's a configurable configurable system for citizen access, right? And it's administered through this we call it citizen access pages. It's over here in CAP, and it basically allows you to kind of go in and set up all the parameters for how you'd like your citizen-facing component of the software to behave. And so you can have select what are the required registration fields. You can enable different components, and it's all dynamic. Like I just clicked on code enforcement. Now code enforcement will show up, and then you can set all the parameters in the system. Like new cases go to a certain person, so any online cases will go first to a certain person in the department. You can say, I want to allow my citizens to search on all cases, or you can just say, well, only their cases, right? And down here you can select, what you'd like the citizens to be able to view. You may not want them to see the documents or the other contacts on the case. So this sort of allows you to sort of decide what you want the citizens to be able to see on the website. And then we just give you this link here, and I didn't save that.
Yeah, I like that.
Hang on 1 second here. So I didn't save that I wanted code enforcement to show up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. All right, so now my code enforcement is showing up. So I can go in code enforcement here, and I can submit a new code enforcement complaint. I can view my request. I can search for cases, but it wants me to, it wants me to log in first here. So I'll go ahead and I'll log in. And so here's my and this is kind of a demo user, but I can see my code complaints, and these are permits that I'm involved in, but I can go ahead and look at that, and if I go in and click, I can disable these at any time. So I can see documents, I can see history, activities that have gone on, other people involved in the case, the violations on the case, and I can leave a message too for the department if I want about my case. So this is sort of the citizen access side of things. So this is actually Citizenserve here. So you can see Citizenserve up here, and so this is we can customize the banner, and then you can do all the HTML. So they put their applications and stuff up online. And so I think that you can in this case you can actually go in. This is a licensing implementation, so you can apply for a license. I think you have to log in. I have not logged in anymore. So I don't have any requests here, but I can, if I wanted to, I can go in and actually apply for a license, and this is kind of more like our licensing and permitting stuff. But so these are all custom fields, and you can set required fields and stuff like that, and upload documents. And when you pick your license, it'll actually show you what information you got to put in, and this is all configurable through the custom fields and stuff like that. So it's pretty for code it's pretty simple, but for for permits and business licenses for each license type, it can get more complex. But this is an example of using the system actually an actual live.
What do you need from us?
To get started?
Yes.
Well, what we would usually what we do for the setup, when we would want to get your letters that you send out, the different types of cases that you have, your violation codes, that kind of thing, and that's and then a list of the users and email addresses and phone numbers for all the users so that we can set them up in the system. We would also need, and probably one of the more important things, we need to get a copy of your parcel data. The addresses and parcel numbers, legal descriptions, stuff like that, so that we can put them in the system, and then when somebody's creating a case, they've got good property information to work from.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. Code's pretty, code for us, the code enforcement setups generally are, can happen very quickly. Really less than 30 days it would take for us to get you up and running.
Okay.
And whereas permitting is, sometimes building permits get complex. I mean, you got some. I was just looking at a implementation for a proposal, and they had there's 100 different permit types. And each one's got different fees and stuff like that. So it's code cases or code setups generally happen pretty fast for us.
Here's my other question. And I just have. Do you have a recommendation on the technology on the device that we should use?
I think, that's something the end users really kind of got to decide on, but, I think that
so it worked well on I know when you did the demos on Microsoft Internet Explorer, so it works well with Internet Explorer, it works well with Firefox, it doesn't. Chrome and Safari?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would recommend, a lot of our customers are going with the iPad. That's, it's, when we got started, there was, the tough book, and there, everybody, because you got this 10-pound notebook in your car, you got to vehicle mount it because you don't want it to hit it in your head, get hit in the head with a thing if you get in an accident. And so you got the $4,000 notebook, and then $1,000 of vehicle mounted, and so that was it was just a lot of money. You can get iPads are $400 or I don't know what they are, but they're inexpensive. They're light, so you don't have to worry about there's no safety issues having them in the vehicle with you. They have built-in GIS or GPS functionality, which is helpful. The camera's built in, so it's that's a good way to go. It is.
Have you all tested on Android?
The application is it's a native Java application.
Yes.
Right. So it works on everything. You can pull it up on your phone, and it works just fine. It's you kind of have to zoom in to see things and stuff like that. But so that's one of the things that we decided when we got started that we were going to be Java based because we knew that the mobile access was important. Whereas with Microsoft, you kind of get tied down. Some of the Microsoft technology doesn't work so great in Safari. So if you go with ActiveX controls or those are kind of older technologies, but sometimes these applications are built on that. So, but yeah, we would work perfectly fine with an Android device too. So.
Okay, but what I was really wanting to know if anyone's using it, any of your customers using an Android device that you know of. Because,
I can check. I don't actually know that because we're Java based.
Oh, it's Java, but I'm just saying like for instance, where we're getting at, we have people or guys out in the field and they have fat fingers, and I know on the iPad it's really good. The keyboard is really good at going through, and on Android device it's kind of different. Because there's so many different flavors of Android devices. Each device has a different type of keyboard when they're trying to input a description or whatever field.
Yeah.
So
it's more all that stuff kind of happens at the at the device level. We're really the application works great in Chrome, right? So if the device is using the Chrome browser, it'll work fine for us. We don't have any control when the device actually presents the keyboard to the user. We don't have much control over what that keyboard is. That's kind of how the device works. So so you need to pick a device that has the features that make sense. And sometimes I would recommend having maybe getting one of each and trying them out, and see which one everybody likes the most, and maybe vote on it or something.
So do you recommend getting a laptop, or is it really better for a touch base?
I think that people really like the iPad or the tablet based devices. That's just my impression. If you're doing a lot of typing, I think people, there's the netbooks are kind of the smaller netbook computers are pretty nice, but I think for the most part people like the tablet based, they're really small, sort of thin, big screen.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But it kind of depends. I mean, one of the nice things about Citizenserve is if everybody wants something different, you could probably pull that off. So
yeah, I was, yep. Okay.